What was something you thought would be easy until you tried it? Snowboarding. I grew up on skis, and when I tried snowboarding I literally just rolled down the entire mountain like a slinky on the stairs. I've heard several people say this. I have a couple friends that grew up in places that they could ski all the time. They said they thought snowboarding was going to be a piece of cake. Both said it kicked their ass. Everyone remembers their first day of snowboarding. Playing the guitar. The jump from not being able to play anything to playing basic chords and a couple songs you like isn't that much, and it makes you feel like such a badass. But the jump again to a working musician is astronomical. I tried and just got burnt out, and it wasn't fun anymore. Playing guitar is so much harder than I thought it would be. I've been playing for about 6 months and it's a ton of work. Somewhere between 100 and 200 practice hours. A lot of the fundamentals start connecting to each other and everything comes together. You're probably getting close to that. Has anyone tried to learn to do a handstand as an adult? How is that so difficult? Thanks, but I'm trying to do the unbroken wrists thing in my life right now. Tried yoga. I started and thought it looked so easy. I always worked out. How hard can it be? Holy shit. I have face planted and fallen on my ass more times than I can count. My muscles were so sore. It is a great workout but dangerous. A lot of the parts from that Ninja Warrior show. I'm a very physically fit guy and always thought that first course looked like a breeze. Then I found a local gym with a different element set up. Even just that very first part, where you hop across a few platforms, was tough. It is always unfair to some contestants. Some things such as the jumping and spider wall are very easy if you are a certain height. But I have seen many people fail just because they are not tall enough to do it. Even on the actual show, there was one girl that was too short to reach both sides of the spider wall and fell. However, when I was a kid I went to a Ninja Warrior training gym, and they had things such as the jumping, spider wall, and warp wall, except sizes so kids could do them. They were not any easier. Things like the warp wall were still the same size, and honestly, they were all very easy. It just takes the right strength and height. Maintaining a proper work/life balance. When I was still in college, I'd either procrastinate way too much, or I'd work non-stop. I was never able to find a balance where I was still getting sukadon, but not burning myself out. Unfortunately, I feel as though college is actually one of the worst times for a young adult to figure out a good work/life balance. There was always too much of something going on. Too many extracurriculars to attend that your friends were doing. Too many different classes placing independent demands on you for workload and homework. Too many people asking you to sort your life out. Asking you to think about a career. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to work? Have you signed up for summer classes? How about those grades? And if you need to pay your way through school with a job? Ha ha ha. Good luck. Have you kept in touch with friends? Family? Oh, now you're sick. That's gonna be a few days worth of schoolwork piling up, and breaks/weekends aren't fun anymore, because either you're thinking about all the things you have to do or will have to do once you go back. I'm a little bitter. Still, I'm about to graduate at 30 and these last 4 years have been some of the hardest in my life. By the time I realized that this was killing me, I had no choice but to follow through. The culture around academia is disturbing. Learning a second language. I understand it's far easier as an adolescent, but woo. Conversational German for an English speaker is very hard for me. I'm not a really confident person, but I keep working on my confidence. There was a time when I tried the fake it until you make it approach. Faking it is harder than expected. Edit. Thank you for all the awards and suggestions. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. We go through life picking up a lot of negative feedback, mulling it over until we've internalized it to the point we just accept it as fact. When something comes into your mind that's hurtful and self-sabotaging, calmly challenge it. Try to think of where it, more like how it came from, and refute the GHT. It takes practice. Ice, but with some time you'll notice your belief in yourself has increased exponentially. LLY. Getting a job. For me, getting a low-paying job out of high school was easy. I just walked door to door through businesses asking if they had openings available. A couple hours later, I had a couple interviews same day, and it felt so easy to get offers. Now I'm trying to get a job out at college, and I can't go door to door or apply to 30 different companies in a day. Now I have to have a compelling story about why X company is so great and why I applied to work there because I loved them from before I was born. I just want an entry-level job in my field anywhere. If I end up disliking the company, I can leave after 2 years on good terms and find another job elsewhere. Socializing with a group of people I usually wouldn't hang out with. It's either that or I stay alone forever. But I just can't find any sort of relatability to these people. I found that hanging out with coworkers is very unfulfilling most of the time because the only thing we have in common is work. And then we only talk about work. Sigh. I'm actually so fortunate to not have this at all and didn't appreciate it until just now. Of the 6 people in my office, 4 of us really get along and actually have a good bit in common. When we go out we don't ever speak about work at all. On the first trip to England, after renting a car, it proved to be a considerable challenge to drive on the other side of the road from what I was used to, especially in the roundabouts and on major highways. Consistently working out, I found that it's best to do whatever you feel you can actually keep up. Used to do methodical full body workouts when I went to the gym and would get burnt out in weeks. But now I just do a muscle or 2 a day and I've kept at it for about a year now. I second this. When I first started working out I thought I had to hit everything at least once when I did it and could never keep up with myself. Personally I found a rhythm with upper/lower splits, going 4 days a week, that I really enjoy. I always recommend splits to people first starting cause you can find so many plans for free online. Golf. I was watching the US Open on TV and seeing the players chatting with their caddies as they took a leisurely stroll down the fairway in the sunshine. I thought that's the game for me, apostrophe. So I borrowed a set of clubs and went out on my own. In the UK, in winter, I got home wet, tired, hungry and covered in mud and scratches with twigs in my hair after hitting about 200 strokes and losing over a dozen balls. I played for a couple of years, but I was still pretty bad at it. Golf a good walk ruined. Throwing dough to make pizza, and pretty much the rest of the pizza making process. Getting the dough into a round 18-foot pie is tricky. Then getting the sauce, even and not on the crust, is a process. And getting all of it done as quickly as possible. After several hundred pizzas I can crank them out pretty good now though. My dad and grandpa owned pizza restaurants until I was 11. And I definitely agree. We still make pizzas often, but when you're not in the routine of doing it daily it gets so hard. And learning is even harder. Losing weight. OMG, the temptation of eating cookies is so big. Edit. Wow. This had so many votes. Thank you guys. The moment you buy them, you lose. This is the real truth. Not turning off my brain. First watch Point Break, and then Bad Boys second. Any luck with the Swans? Fucking life. All through my teenage years, I thought it'd be so simple to get a good paying job, never get sick and just exist. Feeding myself, entertaining myself. Then I leave home and struggle every single day. It's so exhausting. Building in Minecraft. Sounds silly but man, I'm bad at building. I've been playing since it was playable, and I still make my buildings too small. It's an infinite world. I can have all the floor space I want, and it always turns out cramped. I feel like there's some kind of metaphor on life in there. Macube. So hard on this. Damn, why can't I make something that does not make me look like a raccoon? I cannot for the life of me get the hang of winged eyeliner. Living on my own. For me it's just the always being alone thing. My place is cleaner and more organized than I've ever been able to keep it now. But it hits hard. No one to talk about your day with. No one to say goodnight to. No one to talk about the future with. Video games are even weird. For my entire life they were a co-op thing. Now it's just me, and I find my interest has gone way down. Everything in my life revolved around 2 people. It's quite an adjustment. Mentally, I'm doing way better. But still, everything is different, and even a year on now, it's hard. The whole COVID thing has really made it worse. Of course, I'd probably feel very differently if the entire world wasn't stuck in our own little holes by ourselves. I don't really care about saying goodnight or talking about the future with someone. But the loneliness hits the hardest when you achieve something, or a funny thing happens, or you liked an episode of a TV show. Having no one to share these small things with can pack a punch. Edit. Grammar. Ice skating. I was so confident that, because I was good on regular skates, that it'd be good on ice. Boy was I wrong. Vice versa. Too. I can ice skate. But put me on wheels, and I'll end up on my ass every time. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.